On a cold Sunday in November of 1970, a man and his two young daughters walking through a remote area of western Norway. The place was known as Isdalen, the Ice Valley. Some locals called it Death Valley. As they walked deeper into the woods, they smelled something strange, the unmistakable, acrid smell of something burning. They followed the scent, curiosity mixed with unease, pushing past trees and rocks. What they found would haunt them forever. On a rocky outcrop lay the body of a woman, badly burned, especially the front of her body and her face. The fire had destroyed her features, leaving her unrecognizable. She lay in a strange, almost boxer-like position, arms raised. The ground around her was scorched black in a small, contained circle. The items scattered around her body were a bizarre collection. Investigators cataloged each piece: a burnt umbrella, its frame twisted, the melted remains of 2 plastic bottles, a small bottle of St. Halvard liqueur, still half full, and most curiously, a single elegant silver spoon. It wasn't the debris of a campsite, it felt more deliberate, almost ritualistic. Each object was a potential clue, yet together they formed a nonsensical puzzle, deepening the mystery. But what screamed loudest was the silence of what was missing. Standard procedure begins with identification, but here, there was nothing. No purse, no wallet, no passport. Her pockets were empty. It was a void where a life should be. The investigators had a body, but no person. This erasure was intentional. Her identity hadn't just been lost, it had been systematically obliterated, scrubbed from existence. The closer they looked, the more the meticulous nature of this erasure became apparent. Every label on her clothing had been painstakingly removed. Not ripped out, but carefully, precisely snipped away. The brand names on other items had been deliberately scraped off. This was the work of a patient and thorough hand. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a calculated effort to create a ghost, a Jane Doe who could never be named. Whoever was behind this had gone to extraordinary lengths to ensure she would remain a phantom. And they had chosen the perfect place, the remote Isdalen Valley. Known to locals as Death Valley, it was a landscape that naturally held its secrets close. The wind whispering through the bare trees seemed to carry the weight of this new, chilling enigma. With no leads at the scene, the investigation expanded to the city of Bergen. Days turned into a week, and frustration mounted. Then, a breakthrough. A station attendant recalled a foreign-sounding woman leaving luggage. Following the tip, police located 2 suitcases, abandoned in a coin-operated locker. As they used a master key to open it, they hoped it held the key to unlocking the entire mystery. Inside, they didn't find a name, but the props for several lives. The suitcases held a curated collection of a woman of the world. There were elegant dresses, stylish coats, and casual wear, a wardrobe for all seasons and occasions. The quality was high, the taste impeccable, painting a portrait of a sophisticated woman. But just like the clothes on her body, every single label had been meticulously snipped away. It was the same chilling signature. Deeper inside, the clues grew stranger. They found 9 different wigs, a clear indication she frequently altered her appearance. There were also several pairs of non-prescription glasses, another tool of disguise. One discovery offered a glimmer of hope, a tube of eczema cream, a uniquely humanizing detail. But that hope was quickly extinguished. The prescription label, which would have carried her name, had been torn off. The only thing left was a notepad with cryptic scribbles in code, a jumble of letters that was indecipherable. The suitcases had only deepened the enigma. Among her few possessions, one item immediately drew the investigators' attention: a small notepad. Inside, its pages were filled not with words, but with a cryptic sequence of letters and numbers. O22, O28, P, R14, R23, S. The pattern was baffling. Was it a spy's cipher? For weeks, cryptographers from the Norwegian intelligence service pored over the strange script, testing every known decryption method. The trail was going cold and the pressure mounted. Just as they were about to classify the code as unbreakable, a junior analyst proposed a radical new theory, a breakthrough that would finally begin to unlock the woman's secrets. The code wasn't a complex military cipher, but something far more personal, yet just as guarded, a meticulously kept travel diary. The analyst realized the letters corresponded to a city, and the numbers were the dates of her stay. O for Oslo, P for Paris, S for Stavanger. Suddenly, the jumbled mess resolved into a clear itinerary. The coded entries painted a picture of a woman in constant, restless motion. Her journey began in Paris before she moved north, methodically tracing a path through Norway's major cities. from Stavanger to Bergen, then further up the coast to Trondheim. This wasn't the journey of a tourist. It was the calculated path of a ghost. She was a phantom, drifting through grand hotels and echoing train stations, a fleeting presence that left almost no trace. She never stayed in one place for more than a few nights, a pattern suggesting she was either pursuing something with great urgency or fleeing something with great terror. In Norway alone, investigators confirmed she had checked into at least 9 different hotels in a matter of weeks. She moved with a precision that was both impressive and deeply unsettling, a shadow slipping through the cracks of society. And at every stop, she shed her identity like a snake sheds its skin. She checked in as Fenella Lorch, a name with a British ring. Then she became Claudia Tielt, seemingly of Belgian origin. In another city, she was Vera Jarl, a name that sounded Scandinavian. Then, Alexia Zarna Merches, suggesting French heritage. Each name was a carefully constructed fiction, a new mask to hide the woman underneath. Investigators checked each one, but they all led to dead ends. No records, no passports, no one by those names existed. The Isdal Woman wasn't just nameless, she was a collection of ghosts, a puzzle where every piece was a lie. For decades, the case file gathered dust. Then in 2017, investigators turned to the silent witness they'd had all along, the Isdal Woman's own body. The breakthrough came from her teeth. Deep within the enamel, a chemical diary of her early life was preserved. Using stable isotope analysis, scientists examined elements absorbed from food and water. The unique signatures of strontium and oxygen acted as a geographic fingerprint, painting a faint but clear picture. She was likely born around 1930 near Nuremberg, Germany, but spent her adolescence in or near France. It was the first concrete biographical detail in nearly 50 years. This new data allowed for another incredible step, giving the Isdal Woman her face back. Forensic artists combined the geographical clues with her skull's structure for a painstaking digital reconstruction. Slowly, a person emerged from the anonymity of the case file. For the first time, the world could look into the eyes of the woman who had haunted Norway for half a century. The image was released globally, a final, desperate hope that someone would recognize her. But the plea was met with unnerving silence. The face gave her a human form, but not a name. Today, she rests in a quiet Bergen cemetery, her grave unmarked. Yet her burial was anything but ordinary. In an act of remarkable foresight, investigators in 1971 interred her in a zinc-lined coffin. They understood this was no common death and created a time capsule, preserving her remains from the elements. They were banking on a future where science could ask questions they hadn't yet imagined. Her body remains a key piece of evidence, a final witness in a case that refuses to go cold. The woman who walked into the ice valley was a phantom, deliberately erasing her own past. Every clue was a misdirection, every identity a fabrication. Was she a spy, a casualty of the Cold War's shadowy games? Or was she fleeing a more personal demon, a past so terrible she had to become a ghost to escape it? The Isdal Woman remains a silent sentinel of the valley, her true identity lost to the cold ground. Her story is a chilling reminder that some secrets are kept forever,